Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of my 4-part free lesson series from my Bass Player University. This time around, we're going to focus on practicing. It could potentially be the most crucial thing that we have, and it's not only mandatory, it's completely unavoidable. Just picture this. Let's say you have an hour-long gig. Now, I've done 5 or 6 hour gigs in the past, but let's say you have a gig for an hour. Practice songs, communication between the band, rehearsals. Are we all available that date? That kind of stuff. And of course, besides rehearsals, alone practice time. A lot of time probably. A lot more than the stage time. Now you got to add packing the car, getting to the gig, unpacking the car at the stage, breaking down from the stage, packing the car, getting back home. At the end of it all, you've spent a lot more time doing other things than the actual stage time. So how you use your time practicing is absolutely crucial to gaining the most from your time and, of course, not wasting your time. We're all very busy. No matter what age you are, no matter how many kids you have or don't have, or dogs or whatever. So crucial, and it's a learning experience. It can actually help you grow as a person, learning how to utilize your time better, time management, of course. Secondly, you have to be honest with yourself. Be honest about your productivity. Was it good? Do I need to keep working on it? Should I slow it down? Do I need to change my tone? Right? If you can record yourself, I think it makes a huge difference. It doesn't have to be video, but record yourself, go back and analyze it. You'd be surprised how many times, or maybe you already know, you think it sounded great and it just wasn't quite right. And listening back is the only way to produce that kind of honesty and criticism about your own playing. I don't like anything I record. I'm always critical. And that's the sign of a good artist and a good musician. So keep challenging yourself. And finally, the most important thing might be to have a free moment in the practicing, a free section where you can do anything, not pre-planned in any way. And we're going to do a little bit of that in a second here. If you don't have apps of any kind that do this, there's YouTube. There are thousands, if not more, drum beats available. You can actually change the tempo on YouTube. You can change the speed of the video. And you can even put in, rock drum beat slow, bossa nova drum beat slow. Whatever you're looking for, it's all there. It's a good thing to utilize. And on top of that, as I often tell my students, especially now in the Bass Player University, I tell them, go pick random stuff on YouTube from anywhere in the world that you've never heard the music from. Or a place that you like the food that you get from there, but you never heard their music, for example. Could be anything. Find it, play along with it, see what happens. See if you can latch onto it quickly. See if you can vibe. There's that word from the first lesson. See if you can vibe with the music as quickly as possible. It's not easy at first, but you get good at it. It just takes practice. Practice makes better, of course. Set goals, and always remember, practice time is different than lesson time, rehearsal time, stage time, studio time. Always different. So, as far as time management, let's say you have an hour. Put a flat number on it. Separate that hour into 4 equal parts, 15 minutes each. And place things in there, including that free section. Be sure to have a free section in there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to set a little stopwatch with my phone, but it's just as good as a physical stopwatch. And I'm going to set myself up to do 2-minute sections, 4 2-minute sections for 8 minutes total. And here we go. First thing we want to talk about today is chords. We're going to talk about triads. Not chords like this, but actual triads on the instrument, like this. Things of that nature. Because the beauty of the fretboard is when you use a major triad, you start with your middle for now, and you get the shape, same shape every time. just got to know what your starting note is. Here is A, 5th fret of E. This is middle pointer pinky. And in our world of triads, we get root, 3rd, 5th. If this is unfamiliar or hazy information for you, you can go back and rewatch this. You can email me with a question, or you can join the Bass Player University and get a full range of information regarding things like this and application, of course. Now we find out that major triads start with the middle. Go to that same fret with your pointer. Now we have the minor triad. It's a different position, the same starting fret. And that's another particular that we'll get to, I think. But let's try 2 random ones. Let's do G minor and E flat major, 2 relatively unrelated triads that do have some notes in common, as a matter of fact. Here's G minor, and here's E flat major. We're not even talking about E flat G, B flat G, E flat. We're just saying, find your starting note, put the correct finger there, you've got your triad, no problem. Now, as we're passing over into our second section of time now, here's the beauty of the fretboard, and also a detriment which we won't have time to discuss today. The major scale and the minor scale that we use, and of course there's more kinds of scales and more kinds of triads than this. They technically, for now, will be starting with the same fingers. Major scale, starting with middle, just like that triad. Minor scale, starting with that pointer finger, just like the minor triad did. So we can actually combine all of them. Let's do that with the metronome for fun. All right, I'm going to try a G sharp major. Now we have the G sharp major triad. We would typically call this A flat, but G sharp works too. So we can do the same thing with minor. Let's do C minor, and then the C minor triad. Add a little flavor right at the end, right? So this is a very, very powerful way to get right inside of a song. If the song is in G minor, set yourself up for G minor. Pointer finger goes on G. Now you have the triad, you have the scale, and if you need to branch out, you can find a way. If needed, of course. Speed is not a factor, by the way, at all. Sometimes it's more important to just have a solid, far-reaching accuracy, long-distance communication, I call it. If we have A here, we have this A here, and maybe even a harmonic A, right? If you need long distance, you're not going to use this. You're going to use this now. That's how we would do our long distance communication, A. I did the triad twice. Same thing twice, plus reaching for the high octave. And we find our way back down. Advanced, but that's what we'll get to eventually. It's understanding how to just flesh out a chord without even trying. It's the best feature of this instrument compared to others, I think. So now in our third section, we're going to do something random. I'm going to go to my app here, and there it is. I'm going to pull up, it's called, I'm on Bossa 1, I'm going to Bossa 2. Let's go to Bossa 1 now. Because it looks no, you know what? Bossa 1 looks too familiar. I'm going to Bossa 2. And let's see what we got here. And just mess around with Bossa number 2. I'm reading along with something I've never seen. I'm checking out that bass drum. Sharp 11. Same root for minor. Down a half step. There's the sharp 11 again. Call it a Phrygian cadence. I'm sticking to just triads, really, and sevenths. Little chromatic action. Back to minor. Same third. Interesting. That's another chord, but we're just going to move along here. So that was the A section, a repeat twice of something I've never seen before. So I think that was a fun way to exemplify that it's fun to be free, and more importantly, you can really get a lot out of it. It's crucial that you learn the chords, the scales, the rhythms. How do you latch onto that feel? I vibed with it right away because I caught that bass drum. I've heard this style a million times. I know where it sits. I know how it lies. And I had to make the chords work for it. And it had some interesting stuff. Sharp 11s, for example. Now, again, if you don't know what any of this stuff means, that's the point. I want to give you the power of musical currency. Chord scales, rhythms, feels, understandings of theory in general. Because then you can get what you want. So as I check my time clock here, we got about 2 minutes on the final section. A lot of our instruments have tone knobs, some more than others. I have a good amount here. What I'm going to do is we're going to experiment with tone in 2 different ways. The first way is, let's see what our right hand can do. I have everything set right in the middle. I'm going to play with just alternate plucking. Let's see what I can get in like a typical rock thing. Like a little major rock thing, right? Now, if I pluck with the side of my finger all the way up here on the fingerboard, and I did a decidedly muted approach here on purpose to get a certain tone. But look at how different it was. Now I'll pluck over here. Mostly triad, a little bit of scale, right? So now I'm going to take away my lows. I'm going to focus on the back pickup, and I'm going to raise the mids. And I'm going to pluck by the back pickup. Now what do we get? Totally different tone, right? Last but not least, let's blast the lows. Let's move up to the front pickup, put the mids in the center, and kill the highs completely. Now what do we get? Now it's like a deep subterranean tone, but better for reggae. And as you can see, as I said in the first lesson, I'm moving my body and dancing. And I'm also using just roots and fifths, but I'm plucking them a certain way. And that's the most crucial factor here. So I think that was a fun way to show you how to try a bunch of different things in a very short amount of time this time around. But you can separate that and do 15 minutes each for an hour. It sounds like fun to me. And we have fun at the Bass Player University. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And on top of that, we record every single lesson. And they're all stored in the Telegram chat that we have. You can go back and watch it anytime, or you can just download them for yourself. If you have a hard drive that you want to keep putting them in, it's probably a good idea. Thank you very much, guys. I hope to see you in the next lesson, the next free lesson, and I hope to see you at the Bass Player University. Thank you.